I guess another draft done. How did you see that one?
It was pretty solid, went to plan. A little bit of a dicey moment having to trade up to get Cook, but we weren't sure he was going to get to us, so that was good. The first part was pretty much to plan. Ability to bid for Jamara, which allowed us to get James Rowe, as we knew the Bulldogs had some interest there, so that part paid dividends. So that was the value of bidding at pick 1. Allowed us to get James Rowe because we knew the Bulldogs had strong interest. Pedler, we're a little bit nervous about someone jumping ahead of us to pick him, but he was pretty much always our man for 9. So there was a bit of relief once that bit got done, and then we had to ride out the rest, do the trade for Cook, and just hope that Rowe didn't get picked before us. So that went pretty much to plan, and Sam Berry was sort of always in our thoughts for 22-23. Whether there was a little bit of movement, we were reasonably confident we could get him at that mark. So it's a good crop. We're really pleased to bring those boys in. They'll really complement each other and what we've already got on the list.
Talk us through that bit at pick 1 and the rationale behind it. Obviously, the points
matched
up. Yeah,
Riley was always our man, but we needed to do that. That was the strategy involved, given that we knew the Bulldogs had pretty much strong interest with James Rowe, and if we could stay ahead of Carlton, where the other interest was as well. So that was the thinking behind the bid. And Riley knew how we thought about him. He wasn't too worried about going pick 2. The boys were there on the doorstep to welcome him, so that was good. So that part of it went really well.
Stayed true to the talent order, but obviously a heavy South Australian flavour. That must be an added bonus.
Yeah, look, it's a bonus to have those local boys in and give them a chance. It's the way the cards fell a bit. There were some Victorian boys in the middle that we were looking at, but we're really fortunate that Pedler could get to 9. No one jumped us to get him, and that Cook was still there. We had to move ahead of Collingwood to get him because we were worried about Collingwood pinching him before us, but his season was fantastic, and Sam Berry was a player that the guys in Victoria had liked for a long time. So to bring in a really tough, competitive player that can play midfield and forward and kick either side, our supporters are really going to enjoy the group. And Rowe's performance, 47 goals in a shortened season, he's just got better and better each year.
Talk us through the balance. Obviously started with a tall, a couple of stronger mids as you talked about, and then a couple of forwards there that can do some flashy things.
Yeah, look, so to get Cook was a real bonus to get that bit of outside, but we were really keen to add to the midfield. And these guys are not just inside mids, they can play inside and outside. Pedler can kick both feet. Sam Berry can kick both feet really well, so they're going to be able to get out. And we can bring Cookie along off his shoulder. And Rowe's an established player. If he was on an AFL list last year, he probably would have got a game, he probably would have got picked for us. So, and to be able to add the 2 NGA boys at no cost, given we knew them well, and Tariq had shown some exciting things, and James had played senior footy, so to get those 2 and Haitley at no cost has been a big win for us.
Tell us about those NGA kids as they come on board as Category B rookie pre-selection.
Yep, so once the draft's now completed tonight, those boys will come straight on. I've spoken to them both tonight, and they're just rapt to be at the club. So, and we know Haitley's been in Adelaide training a fair bit already, so another 3 good South Australian lads to come on. So it was a really good result.
I think you've spoken to all the boys. What's the reactions been like? Like obviously overjoyed, I'm guessing.
Yeah, look, Luke, I didn't speak to Riley until a fair bit later, but Luke Pedler could still hardly talk, and it was 3 hours after he'd been picked. He was so excited. So he just kept saying, all I wanted to do was play for you guys. I just wanted to play for you guys. So he really wanted to come to the club, and it was good because he knew the strong interest. There was a lot of interest from Freo and GWS and other clubs around our mark. So to be able to get him in was a good result. And with Riley, to sit there at the under-16 nationals, and if you had told me we were going to get that big fella playing at our club, I would have signed up on the spot. So for him to be basically the best South Australian player over the last 3 years, and then to be able to get him now has been a huge bonus.
Virtual event tonight, how did you see that? Obviously a little bit different.
Yeah, it was long. And our the early part was pretty straightforward. Then there was a fair bit going on. Perhaps not as much trading as we thought, but given where our picks lay and the fact that we're happy to take them and get up with 1 trade to get Cook, that was really pleasing. But it was a pretty long night. And
Roy Sloan and Fisher Mackesy were in the Crows draft room here in Melbourne. Talk us through that and their involvement and what they can take out of it.
Yeah, look, it was a great learning experience for Fisher, and he knew a lot of the boys, so it was of real interest to him, given he had some former teammates in the draft. So it was exciting for him. It was good to have him there, and Sloaney had a role to play, helping with the pick trade. So that's just Sloaney. You expect nothing less. He couldn't wait to get involved.
And just a quick line on each of them, mate, just as sort of the players they are. So just Riley
We think Riley's going to play a lot forward. His marking, his goal kicking is going to be a real strength, and the fact that he's got a genuine second position is a real bonus. So it's hard to find players like that at that size. Luke's just been a great leader for PAC and Glenelg early in the year. He got injured and missed later in the year, which wasn't the worst thing that could have happened, because he probably was maybe a little bit under the radar for a few, but not for us. So he goes forward from the middle, so his explosion out of centre bounce is going to be really handy. And then Cookie's played wing and forward and changed in game, so he's exciting. It's all natural talent, instinct. He's going to have a lot to learn, and we'll get his shoulder rehab, but he's exciting, and some of his best footy this year for South Adelaide was great. And Sam Berry was just a super well-performed, tough 17-year-old leader at Gippsland in a really good team last year, and he's done a lot of work forward, but he would have been a dominant midfielder, I'm sure, this year if he had played in the NAB League. So he's going to I can see him and Luke Pedler really working well together. And then the NGA boys with James and Tariq. Tariq's exciting. His speed is something we really needed. So, and James is good footy as a defender, but can play forward in the Sturt Seniors. And James Rowe, all our supporters will all know Rowie well. He's just a goal-kicking machine, but his improvement rate since under 16s, he's got better and better, and he's done the hard yards. He's even played some reserves footy in the past at the Eagles, but he's been the best performed small forward in the country this year, so he deserves his chance.
Thanks, mate.